meteorologist Damon Matson with a full look at our forecast.
Yeah, Damon, it's been a hot day. What are we expecting?
Well, I hate to say more of the same in terms of those temperatures, but yeah, there is more heat on the way after today, though we will catch a little break going into the weekend. That's some good news. Check out these temperatures, folks. Now, we were a little bit hotter earlier this afternoon when the sunshine was abundant and we were not seeing as much cloud cover and some showers and storms rolling in. Temperatures have taken a step back into the middle to upper 80s everywhere west of I-95. We still have some 90s along and east of the I-95 corridor toward the Chesapeake Bay, where those clouds have been a little bit less, but nonetheless, still a very hot day out there. And then when you factor in the humidity, now, thankfully, the humidity has been a little bit more localized, spotty as we go about this afternoon and evening here. Those locations that are feeling a little bit more muggy, it still feels like it is in the 90s. But when you take out that moisture factor in the air, the heat index not nearly as bad here as you go off to the north and west. So that feels like temperature not quite as stifling as you go north and west there. Now, again, we have some storms. This has been one of our primary concerns today with all of the heat and humidity built up out there and an approaching cold front. Well, that's enough to spark up some storms. Thus far, we've only had some light showers across northern Virginia, north central Maryland, but again, we can't rule out some very isolated activity popping to the south and east. This is just outside of the district in Prince George's County. We have a couple of heavier showers right now just along the Beltway from Camp Springs back up toward Kettering and then down toward the National Harbor as well. So heads up, if you're going to be commuting on the Beltway here very shortly, you might run into some of this heavier rainfall for the evening commute. Thankfully, it's just heavier rain at this point. And then we have a cluster of thunderstorms that has been showing signs of weakening back toward western Maryland from Grantsville into Cumberland there as well. We'll keep an eye on this cluster as it continues to drop south and east. Still could gain some strength as, again, we have that possibility of severe storms mostly across our northern counties along and north of Interstate 70 here in the yellow. That's that level 2 risk for severe storms that we'll be watching out for. But again, we cannot completely rule out a severe storm or two making it far enough south to the district into northern Virginia and southern Maryland. And folks, this threat for severe storms, it continues straight into the night until the cold front clears around midnight. Damaging wind gusts and some frequent lightning are the most likely threats from any severe storms that we could end up seeing here over the rest of the afternoon and evening. Now, folks, today was hot and a little bit humid. Again, we catch a small break over the weekend. Temperatures in the mid 80s with very little humidity to worry about. That's going to be nice, especially because next week, it's a whole nother level of heat, folks. We are about to experience our first heat wave of the year, and not just any old regular heat here. We're climbing into the mid 90s, folks, for consecutive days in a row. And the other factor with this that is going to make this heat just that much more impactful, we don't catch a break at night. We don't get a chance for our bodies to cool down as we go into the overnight hours. We'll have overnight low temps well into the 70s, and that wears on your body over time. And to give some context as well, folks, last year, we only had 2 stretches where we had consecutive days of 95 degrees plus, late July, early September. Next week, we could potentially have a stretch of 4 to 5 days of 95 degrees plus each afternoon. And again, we have humidity. We have that temperature staying elevated through the overnight hours to where we just do not catch a break. So this is about to be a very impactful heat wave, folks. No question about it. So after today's storms and after we get a nice little break this weekend for Father's Day weekend there, we're going to be dealing with that very stifling heat all of next week.